Nintendo just pulled the plug on the Switch 2 bundle, and fans have noticed. No press release, no explanation. Bundles are usually how Nintendo builds momentum and swings the deal. So when one gets asked this early, it raises eyebrows. Is this a supply issue, a pricing rethink strategy, or Nintendo quietly adjusting its launch strategy? Because when Nintendo makes a move like this, it's rarely accidental.
I am honored to take.
All right, and here's why this shouldn't cause, I guess, panic, but it shouldn't be ignored either. Because Nintendo has a long history of tweaking hardware strategy early if the numbers aren't lining up. Bundles are tools, not commitments. If attach rates, margins, or inventory flow don't look right, Nintendo won't hesitate to pull back on bundles. This could mean they want more consoles sold at full price. It could mean the bundle game is selling well enough on its own, or it could signal a different bundle or pricing move coming later on. What it doesn't automatically mean is trouble for the Switch 2. Nintendo is famously conservative, and early course corrections are part of how they avoid bigger problems down the line. So should fans worry? Probably not. But fans should pay attention absolutely when Nintendo asks, because when Nintendo goes quiet and change directions this fast, it's usually setting the table for whatever is about to come next.
Very true. I have a different mindset. I say you should worry. And my thoughts on it is this bundle was made to get people in the door. And Switch 2 has sold tremendously at the start. We've reported that sales they're trickling down. They're slowing. It hasn't stopped. We're not saying, it's failing. We're not fear mongering. We're not doing all of that. But what's very interesting is in the ongoing crisis of chip shortage, now RAM shortage, everything's going on. Nintendo raised the price of the original Switch. They raised the price of Switch 2 hardware. They have done everything they can to make sure they don't raise the price on the system itself. The bundle was to get you in the door and you have a game. Now, no bundle. I mean, Mario Kart World is $80 or nothing at all if you ain't gonna get it. But this is probably a last-ditch effort to cut costs somewhere before having to make a dreaded price hike. Let's be real, people. Nintendo's a console maker. Console uses chips, it uses RAM, it does all of that. And Nintendo system is the newest on the block. They need out on the floor to sell. Current news going around is that Micro Center, Best Buy, and a few other outlets are discounting these systems to the original MSRP. Some, I believe Micro Center was $400 to get rid of these. That would signal that sales are slowing. They're getting stagnant to a point, which is, we reported on this before. Was it the hardcore market that showed up for them, and the rest of the consumer base is just it seems more the same. Switch 2 also has a game problem. Majority of third-party games are game key cards. Consumers have already spoke. They do not like that. Only for Nintendo first-party games are actually on the cartridges themselves, and Nintendo wants $70 and $80 for these. Things are getting too high and expensive right now, so consumers are voting with their wallet. Now, I will say this. When this bundle came out, Nintendo did say that this would be a limited time, but they did not give specifics on how limited and when. People are speculating that the Mario Kart World bundle will be Nintendo's new sales system bundle, a la how Mario Kart Deluxe 8 was for the original Switch. It always came back during the holidays, and it always sold very well, but I guess now that's just not true. Nintendo may be seeing the forecast and the writing on the wall and saying like, hey, cut this before this eats up too much capital, and when we can stave off from, once again, not having to increase the price of this, further driving away consumers. You may not know this, but Nintendo has always been the family first console and the most economic. The Switch 2 is Nintendo's first version. Let's change that. First iteration of their product that is over $300. You can go look this up. You can go look this up. The original Wii, the white model, that was $300. Before they did a revision, they made the black. The black was a deluxe. OLED came later, another revision. that was $350. Switch 2 has come out of the gate at a staggering $450. Every analyst was blown out of the water thinking like, oh shit, they did not believe it was going to be that high. Everyone felt Nintendo would meet price match of 300 or go 4. People's wallets are getting tight. Whoever showed up for Switch 2, hope you all enjoy and you are all having a great time. They're looking, waiting, and seeing, and I'll tell you right now, I don't see a point in buying the damn Switch 2 right now when there will probably be 2 to 3 revisions of this fucking system. Now, in these economic times, will probably come faster than the original Switch. Switch Lite, I believe, was 2 years after the original one. I would not be surprised if sometime next year around this time, there are reports of a more cheaper, smaller, economic Switch 2 that they'll be developing for the master markets. We already know they have a cheaper, condensed version for the Japanese market that is region locked and only to Japan. Take care of their wallet. I say you should be concerned. Get it while you can, because forecasts also say this RAM shortage that's hurting everybody, it is going to hit Nintendo's door. And this is probably their just way of trying to satiate this for as long as they can before they make news, an announcement like, hey, Switch 2 is going to be $500, no game, or if not more.
Listen, if you listen to this podcast for a while, you already know how I feel about Nintendo. Fuck Nintendo. Fuck Nintendo forever. The Switch 2 price, you don't get, in my opinion, enough value for said price. And even with the RAM and everything, and there's a lot of speculation that a price increase will come to the Switch 2 eventually. It's not if, it's when. It's even more of you not getting enough value because the Switch 2 is just not, the value is just not there. And that is done purposely. They could have put a fucking OLED in the Switch 2 from the jump. They chose not to. Why? Because they wanted to sell you a revision version of this fucking system. Switch 2 are not mean numbers. That's Nintendo's fault at the end of the day, because you made an inferior product. You raised the price of it, because I don't see why anybody would leave their OLED Switch 1 for this version of the Switch 2. I just don't see the value. And apparently neither does the people that owns OLED Switch 1s. Like, they don't see the value of upgrading to Switch 2. So yeah, fuck Nintendo. And this was done with intent. Nintendo knew exactly what they were doing when they released this product, and it's not like they didn't already have the OLED screens on hand. There's already reports saying that Nintendo, from last time when they bought the OLED screens, have a plethora of OLED screens in stock. So they could have rolled out the Switch 2 with an OLED screen. It was very much in their capabilities. They chose not to. Why? Want to nickel and dime you on the back end and fucking give you like, oh, we giving an upgraded version of the Switch 2 with the OLED. Like, come on, man. Fool me once, fool me, you can't get fooled again. Like, you've already done this phony and show once. You're not about to continue to do this and then ask me for an extra $150, $200. I mean, I know all this RAM shortage and price increase has taken the industry by surprise, but listen, you cannot set up to sell an inferior product for $450 with the expectation that you're going to sell them a better version of that inferior product for probably an extra $100 later on. If you plan that, you deserve whatever numbers of low stagnant sales that you get with the Switch 2, and karma's a motherfucker. And listen, and somebody commented on our last video saying, hey, this is to be expected from Nintendo after the shit they did with the Switch 2. They did a lot of shit with evil intent. I always talk about that evil intent being disgusting in gaming industry. Nintendo is notorious for evil intent. So hey, karma's a bitch, and I hope karma continues to hit Nintendo where it fucking hurts. They've already reported that the numbers are stagnant. They're not as high as what they expected, what they probably reported to shareholders and all the people that makes the money go at the company. And they probably thought they was gonna get another Switch 1 renaissance. Switch 1 sales caught them off guard. They did not think it would do that well when it sold. But listen, different time, different day, different product, baby. This ain't the Switch 1. You need to wake up and smell roses. So them adjusting, taking bundles is them trying to figure out and trying to keep the numbers at a certain level and probably trying to improve the numbers, even though the bundle is probably a better deal. But we've already reported they've already cannibalized the Switch 1 with price increases. So they're already trying to tell you, don't buy that shit. Buy the Switch 2, but the value in the Switch 2 is not there. Hey, listen, I'm not gonna keep harping and beating the dead horse. Nintendo, I hope you get everything you fucking deserve with the Switch 2. And hey, I'm not saying they can't turn it around. I'm not saying they can't adjust. And maybe they'll do the ultimate thing in which my cousin keeps saying all these companies can do, and that's take a L. Take a L and be consumer first and sell these things at a loss, which I feel like their profit margins for how cheap the system is, that's already probably high. We'll see. We'll see. Hey, maybe Nintendo can surprise me because, I'm always fuck Nintendo forever until they get their shit together. So hey, I just feel like this is karma for all the nasty shit they did with the Switch 1 and went into the Switch 2. So I don't give a damn. I hope it does fail. Let me not say that. I hope what I hope is that Nintendo learns a valuable fucking lesson. The value of your games are not $80. The value of your system is not the price you're paying. And therefore you are getting what you deserve because people see that the value is not there. So you need to rethink and readjust because these $80 games for a cartridge and a key card at the end of the day, fuck you. Fuck you and fuck you forever. That's all I gotta say. Fuck Nintendo, bitch asses. Let me know in the comments how you feel. Listen, was you ever gonna get a Switch 2? Especially if you got the OLED version. Let me ask you that too in the comments. Like, if you got an OLED Switch 1, are you really gonna upgrade to this non-OLED Switch 2? And
No,
I really want to ask that because if you got an OLED, I don't understand why. What is the driving force to make you buy a Switch 2? I kind of feel like this product was dead on arrival. Don't get me wrong, the Nintendo enthusiast is gonna pay for whatever Nintendo gives them, but for the real people that's really looking at the value, I just don't see any value in the Switch 2 for especially OLED Switch 1 owners. I just don't see it. But maybe I'm very much fuck Nintendo, so maybe I got blinders on, and if I do, let me know in the comments below. Maybe you can show me
I
a
have
different
a
angle.
I have a Switch OLED, and the moment I realized that the system was not OLED and or better, the answer was no. Like my cousin said, the reports had already came, and you also take heed to this because she's told you I buy everything. My wallet's
Oh,
flexible, baby.
oh yeah, yeah.
I,
Facts. Facts.
yeah,
He
I
bought
said
Oblivion.
no
He said he bought
three
Oblivion
times.
3 times, people.
Anytime. So I'm telling you, the reports had came out that the reason the Switch OLED made the way it was, that Nintendo went to Samsung and bought up all the unused OLED panels Samsung had, were just sitting there. They got a bargain for it. Hell, they got a motherfucking deal. Now, yes, you have some people argue, well, the Switch OLED is 7 inches in the OLED. Okay, they gave you an extra inch. You're gonna really tell me if the Switch 2 came out and it was the same screen size, but had OLED, you wouldn't have bought it? Don't lie to yourself. Lie to whoever you want. Don't lie to yourself. And then not even that. They went backwards. The battery life on Switch 2 is less than the OLED because the original Switch battery life was abysmal. Then they made the red cover Switch, which had improved battery life. But hey, everyone who had bought the original, you were shit out of luck. You had to go sell that to get another one. I'm not interested in it. And mark my words, you hearing it first. Mark, there will be a Switch 2 revision where they will add an OLED panel later, refine Joy-Cons, however they're going to market it. There will be another one. Well, moving on. Let's go before we all get riled up. And that's it for this video of Are You Not Entertained podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell so you'll never miss our next hot take. Until next time, Are You Not Entertained?